Welcome back. Probing the Cuomo administration, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Brooklyn and the FBI reportedly now investigating how the New York governor handled the COVID-19 nursing home deaths crisis at the height of the pandemic. According to this report, the probe is still in its early stages, and it's focusing on members of Cuomo's coronavirus task force. Joining me right now is New York Congressman and member of the House Financial Services Committee and House Foreign Affairs Committee, Lee Zeldin. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What do you want to know in terms of this investigation? What is your reaction to now apparently the DOJ and the FBI investigating?
I think it's great that they're looking at this track, even though we've had a change of administrations and a new attorney general is coming in. Hopefully there's going to be a smooth transition where we don't see an investigation stop because of any type of political influence. When Merrick Garland is coming up for his confirmation hearings in the Senate, this is a great example to use to ensure and secure a commitment that the Justice Department is going to remain independent and free of any type of political influence. It's really important on behalf of the thousands of families of dead New York seniors that this investigation goes all the way to the end. And it's not just the debate over whether or not there was obstruction of justice after as part of the cover-up, and then the requests are being made for info, but looking back to the original order, because it did result in the loss of life. We've just learned that there's over 9,000 infected patients that were placed with healthy nursing home residents. The governor of the state undercounted the amount of deaths that took place, and now you have a lot of Democrats who serve in the New York State legislature who are talking about stripping his emergency powers, and they're upset that they're getting played.
Yeah, so what's going on here within the Democrat Party, do you think, Congressman? Because you're right. Suddenly, now some Democrats are turning on Andrew Cuomo over this situation, wanting to strip him of emergency powers. Others saying it's over for him. He needs to step down. After the presidential election, we all were looking at him as perhaps someone that the Biden administration was going to tap in terms of AG or another role. Did something happen other than obviously his own actions that has part of the party now turning against him?
Well, for one, you could see one of the deterrents behind the scenes as to why Governor Cuomo might not have actually wanted to pursue that AG's position is that you have an active, real DOJ, FBI investigation going on against him. I think that part of the governor's attitude has resulted in this backfiring, where he's written self-congratulatory books praising his own leadership. He's accepted Emmy awards. When he was asked about this a few weeks ago, his attitude was, who cares? When he was asked about the nursing home deaths and the cover-up and the interest in wanting to get more information. For the state legislature, for many of the Democrats, you could see that there's a lack of accountability. It seems like there's a lack of respect for from the governor towards the state legislature. So why continue to give the governor all of these emergency powers if there's no accountability?
Congressman, let me switch gears, ask you about the retail investing frenzy. The House Financial Services Committee will hold that hearing today on the GameStop short squeeze that's happening at noon. You are on the committee. Among those testifying, the CEO for the trading app Robinhood, Reddit's co-founder and CEO Steve Huffman, and one of the short sellers, Gabe Plotkin of Melvin Capital. What can we gain out of this as a member of the committee? What are you looking for?
For one, we need to look at this as a fact-finding mission and not a motivation to not to let any good crisis go to waste, where Dems might be trying to create more regulation, to create more taxes. We need to fight for the little guy and get answers. If anything nefarious took place, that needs to come out. Let's be responsible and be adults in the room, inside the room.